Okay, it is Monday, September 15th. I am back again for the one trade a day strategy. One trade a day is all you really need, no matter what code you're playing. You play code 1 and play a one trade a day strategy. You could play the other code 2 trades, one trade a day strategy, or this code 2 trade. It doesn't matter which one you want to do, which code. You can use that strategy or this strategy on any of them. What this strategy does, it helps you to build patience, discipline, helps you to never go off of a cliff, or actually it keeps you from never going off of a cliff. You can never have a really bad wipeout day. Why? Because you're only taking one trade. It's those days where you take a trade and lose, and then take another trade and lose again, and then you just get really pissed off, and you just say, this is just crazy, blah blah blah. So maybe you go in with more contracts, or you take another trade and you lose again. You have one day where you go off a cliff. That's it. You're done. There is no more trading for you. You're through as a trader. Close your account, send your money back to your bank, and you're done. In one day. Happens to a lot of people. So this strategy, by default, by the very way that it works, because the rule is you only take one trade a day, by that strategy, you never have a wipeout day. And every day is different. Some days are just really bad. A professional trader will see that and stop trading. A newbie trader will just keep trading and lose all their money. This is what's happening. So this one trade a day strategy helps you to build up experience and confidence and patience and discipline and your account. You build your account up. It just, by the very way that this strategy is set up, it just works. It does everything right and works. I like this particular code because this one comes at a really good time for me. This I don't have to wake up early in the morning, but the market's not over with yet. It just happens to be my time zone. But wherever you live on planet Earth, your time zone is going to be different. Unless you live in the same time zone as me, obviously. I'm just waiting for the code to give me an entry. I think it's going to be up. I think it's going to give a long entry. But I don't trade by what I think it's going to do. If I did, I wouldn't do anywhere near as good as if I just follow the code. So that's what I do. Just follow the code, waiting for the code to give entry. So, I learned this strategy, this one trade per day strategy a long time ago. Way back in 2001, I'd say. So that's 13 years ago. I learned this strategy, and I did it for a long time, and it really does work. It keeps you out of trouble. It makes you become disciplined and have patience. Every day is a new day. You've had time to sleep. Let's say you lose. right? Instead of being all emotional and taking another trade, you have the rest of the day to think about it. You have all night long to sleep on it. You have the next day to come back to it. And you know what usually happens when you come back to it the next day? You're pumped and you're ready. You're strong. And you say, I'm going to win this one. I'm not going to make a mistake. I'm not going to, be nervous. I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to do what I know how to do. And then you just go do it with confidence. And if you do lose again, you should always be studying why you lost. Why did you lose? You should not be losing if you know what you're doing. And by virtue of you having to wait till the next day, what happens is after a while you start to learn, hey, if I get this trade wrong, I can't trade for the rest of the day. My trading is done. And guess what? You by default want to trade. So it makes you really try hard to get the entry right. It's a way for you to practice over time too. Because like I said, what most people do is they have one day and they wipe it out. They wipe out their account, wipe out their emotions, all in one day. This is a new week here, so we have to establish what this particular code will be good for. But if it's a buy entry, it looks really good because we have a line, a green bar on the daily going up with a line at the bottom of it, like a double bottom on the daily. And we're at the top of the green bar. And on the 10-minute, we're almost at the very top of the 10-minute. We're right next to it. In fact, it's right here. We're at the very top. So if it breaks, if the code gives an entry to go long, it should go long by 20 ticks, no problem. Possibly much more than that, but I'm just going for 20. That's another thing, well, it just depends. I mean, if this thing really takes off, I could go for more than 20. You notice we were in a very similar situation last week, and it looked like it was the bottom of the daily, and it did go up, but it didn't take off. This is the second time now. Now we're at a double bottom on the daily, so this is like a second shot at the same exact thing. So the other one didn't take off. This one might. This one very well might. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm going to pause the video. I'll come back when I'm about to, or once I have taken entry. I'm pretty sure entry will come. And, it's just going to be an easy, quick 20 ticks today, pretty much. Yeah, no matter which way it goes, should be able to get 20 ticks. So, there's not much to this trade. It's actually quite simple. But one trade a day. That's all you even need. Now, those people who are out there who are good traders, you're not going to settle for one trade a day. You want to trade a whole bunch of trades. Well, code is perfect for you. Can't get any better than that. But for those people out there who are new at trading, you should strongly consider using this one trade a day strategy for, as long as you need to until you become good at trading. You'll know when you're ready. You'll feel it inside. You won't be fighting it anymore. You'll be going with it. So anyway, I'll come back. I think it's going to be a buy entry soon, and we'll make a quick 20 ticks going up, maybe more. And I'll be back soon. By the way, another thing that you can do for you code traders out there, you can see that the Euro code was good for nothing. There basically was no euro code. So that only leaves two codes left. The first USA code was good for over 100 ticks today. So this one should also be good for something, you know, at least 20, maybe 30, 40, 50, something like that. Whereas if the other two had done something, like let's say the euro was good for 80 and the USA was good for over 100, they both did something, then this one would be more likely not to do much. But since the first one didn't do anything, second one did, this third one should do something as well, because 2 out of 3 will do something, as long as it's, you know, fairly active. Otherwise, all 3 will go dead if it completely dies, or just one will work if it's not very active, which it did do that for a while, and it went down to just 1, which was the first USA. But now that it's picking up, 2 of them out of the 3 will work. And then when it really picks up, all 3 will work. And I'll tell you, there's a very good chance of that happening with all of this Middle East problem. Because, I mean, oil is very unique in all the world. You know, people think that money has value, but it doesn't really have any value. Money, what really has value are things that are worth something, like a house is worth something, land is worth something, because people always need a house to live in, people always need land to build on. There's another thing that's worth something, and it's oil. And it's worth something all over the whole world. And it's a true substance, and it actually has value, because all the engines of the world run from this oil, from gasoline, derivative oil. So it's a commodity that the whole world not only uses but absolutely needs, or the whole entire 21st century would come to a standstill. In the 20th century, come to a standstill and go into chaos even. So, you know, like for instance, you compare it to gold, okay? If all the gold disappeared tomorrow, what would happen? Not much, because gold isn't really used for anything. But if all the oil disappeared tomorrow, the whole world would go into standstill or chaos. So oil is this very like a hot potato. And well, maybe that's not a good analogy. It's just a very important thing to the whole world, okay? And it's all being controlled and manipulated, of course. And then what's happening right now with all of this turmoil going on? Where is it happening? It's happening in the Middle East, for the most part. And where's the oil come from? The Middle East, for the most part. So you see the powder keg that's building. And guess what's going to happen when it explodes? Bingo. Oil. Going to be the big mover. Unlike anything else. And you know, I'm not, I don't want to say I'm looking forward to it, because that means that, the powder keg explodes, and I would never wish for that to happen. But at the same time, if it does happen, I'm going to be here to try to take full advantage of it. Because when I say you can make a lot of money at this, if that were to happen, would be an understatement. Oh, man. Because, see, the codes will work beautifully when it gets really active. Oh. Man. Because you can take the entry and just hold it for huge trades. I mean, you think 100 ticks is nice now? Try 500 ticks. Let me just ask you this. How would you like to make an average of 300 ticks per every code 2, and there's 3 of them in a 24-hour period? All of them. How much money could you make? And on the USA first code 2, that one good for 500 ticks a lot. So, not just 300. So, and you can even hit a couple of 10 baggers, so $10. So 1,000 ticks. So and these are just short trades too. I mean, I'm not even talking about trying to hit like something on the daily. Man, I seen oil move $28 once in one day. $28 went straight up. $28. Oh, man. Imagine that. $28 straight up off USA code 2. This thing still hasn't given an entry yet. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk out there, but I mean, the Pope, which, I'm just going to say that to state what appears to be something factual, the Pope is saying that he believes it's, World War III has already started piecemeal, meaning that it started, the things that make World War III happen are happening. In other words, the gears in motion have started towards World War III that's going to break out. Well, guess what? Guess what, traders? As far as I know, when World War III breaks out, guess what's still going to be working? Guess what's still going to be trading, going up and down? You guessed it. Oil. What do you think World War III is going to happen, and all these, stuff's going off in the Middle East and everything? And it's all over the news, all over the world. What do you think is going to happen? There's like the greatest trading opportunity that's ever happened in world history is about to happen, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong. We're going to find out. But, I mean, I don't know, but maybe this is the best place you could possibly be to be in such a position to be able to make money. while the world collapses and you're sitting here making money electronically, and then you put your money into your bank, and then you've got money, you get it out through your ATM and your credit cards, and the world's falling apart, but you sit there and you've got money every day. All because you know a code to be able to make money from the oil market, and the Middle East is going up in flames, and World War III is breaking out, and Russia and China. I mean, so apparently the Chinese are telling people to get out of the Philippines and warning foreigners not to go to the Philippines because, I don't know. I don't know what they have planned. And it's apparently to China and Japan are talking about going to war with each other. 75% of the people in China think that war is going to happen with Japan. I don't know. Maybe those are just lies. Maybe they're just lies. There's a very reasonable possibility that is true. It's just lies. You see, it's easy to write some story and say this is the truth and then pass it off as being true. Doesn't necessarily mean it is true. In fact, I would say most of the stuff out there is lies. So it's hard to know what's the truth and what isn't. It's getting real tough to be able to distinguish between the two because there's just so many lies out there now. Even I can't tell anymore what's the truth. And that's why I just turned it all off, because it no longer is decipherable anymore. And whatever happens, happens. But I think it's reasonable to, you could look at the headlines and things like that, and we're talking about it, so it's reasonable to assume that oil may in fact pick up quite a bit as these things unfold and happen, or if they do happen. This thing still has not given me an entry. It will. It's just going to take time. But what's going to happen, all of a sudden, it's going to go boom, and it'll take off and go up. Or vice versa, go down. But whatever way it's going to go, it'll do it relatively quickly, probably, maybe. I still think it's going to go up. So anyway, so yeah, there's reason to believe that oil may in fact heat up quite a bit in the very near future. And if it does, this thing is a money maker like you have never seen before. Think of Qualcomm in 2000, 1999, something like that. What was it? 1999. Yeah, Qualcomm, 1999. The stock went from like $15 a share to $1,000 a share after splitting 8 times in like a year. I mean, it just, actually less than a year. It was less than a year. Now imagine that, okay? Just think about that for a second. It went from $15 a share to $1,000 a share after splitting 8 times. 8 times. In less than a year. You want to make money? You can turn $15,000 into over $1 million. I know that. I know because my uncle was screaming it every day. I'm now up $1 million. What's something, Go Qualcomm. Of course, I don't blame him. If I turned $15,000 into over $1 million in less than a year, I'd be screaming, "Go Qualcomm" too. Of course, I would have got out, took the profit. Let me tell you. Point is that's how you make money, and that's what this oil can turn into, something like that, where you can just make a fortune. But you can't just hold and like you can Qualcomm. That's an easy way to make money. Sure, that's better. It's better. This one you're going to have to trade, but you can trade it like a trader and do really super good. Of course, you got to become a trader. You know, it takes a skill, it takes practice. That's true, very true. Much easier just to buy Qualcomm for $15 a share and hold it to 1,000 after splitting 8 times. Much easier. Unfortunately, those don't come around every day, but this does. It's going to all of a sudden just go. Okay, I'm in for a quick 20 ticks. You know, a lot of times, those of you that know, it'll come back down again right after you take the entry. It's just doing that, you know, to fake the down. You could wait for it to come down a little bit and then take the entry. But the problem with that is sometimes it'll go and it'll just go. So you're going to miss those. Now, you haven't seen that yet while you've seen me take this trade, but you will. So, but the thing is it's going to come back on you probably more, or yeah, I'd say about 70-80% of the time, and then go only 20% of the time. So you could take that trade if you wanted to. And if it does go, you could chase it, but I don't recommend doing that. I never like to chase. If you're going to play that way, you should just let the ones that go. Just let them go. Problem is, those are the best ones. Those are the ones that go for 100 ticks a lot too. So, or you can just play it like I play it, because I think I play it the best way. And you're just following the code. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and pause the video now, and I will come back and show you the progression and the outcome of this trade. But it's an easy trade. Should be able to make 20 ticks on this, no problem. It went up and broke like I thought it was going to. We're at the top of a daily. We're at the top of a 10-minute chart. It's just going to go up here. It may play around down here a little bit, but it's going to go up here and break again and then go. It'll do 20 ticks, maybe more. But I'm just going to take 20. So I'll come back. This thing's making a big move down. Looks like it's going to maybe come get the stop. This is always a problem with these trades, is that it'll come down a lot of times to the range. And the range is fairly large, so the 20 tick stop is not going to hold on the range. So if it, like, you know, double bottoms or comes close to double bottoming, it's going to get the stop. That's a problem with the trade. But it, you know, it won't do this often enough to worry about it. And a lot of times it will come right next to the stop and not hit it. You miss them a lot. A lot of times they hit and they hit right where you are, and then they go. But a lot of times you don't get hit and then they go. So it's just a matter of being able to hang on here. But either way, if it gets hit, that's it. You know, I'm only going to take that one loss. I'm not going to get back in, just be a loss for today. But you will see this happen. And every day will be different. But you'll see that the way that I play it, you come out way ahead. So that's the most important thing, right? That might be the bottom right there. We'll go back up from here. It's common though. Remember I explained yesterday about how you can just wait for it to go about halfway on the range and then take entry? That was it right there. That was halfway back on the range. You could have just taken that entry right there to go long now. If you want to play like that, you can. And you can see for yourself and watch every day to see how many of them do that and how many of them don't. I mean, there's an argument to be made that you should just play like that, because that increases your math and your profit at the same exact time. Okay, there could be days where you miss it, right? But just miss it. And then, because you remember yesterday it came 4 ticks away from my stop. This one came 2 ticks so far. If it keeps on going, it's going to be 2 ticks. Yesterday was 4 ticks. So you could have gotten in for a much better price. You could just always play like that. Mathematically, thinking about it, you'd come out way ahead that way. You'd go through more frustration in missing some, but the true mathematical numbers come out way ahead. So I may just go ahead and modify my strategy here over to that, because that would be the best way. Even though we're going to miss some. But you know, you're probably only going to miss about 20%, so the other 80% will take entry. That makes mathematical sense too, right? Yep. The math justifies doing that strategy for sure. Because now you'd be in it, like, let's say, well, let's just say you took entry at 84. Be 14 ticks better. Well, actually, you should be 15 ticks better, so it should be 83. You should be in. So you'd be in an 83, 93, 03 would be 20 ticks already. You go for 13, go for 30 ticks on this trade. All from a better entry. Or just go for 20 and up the math even higher. I'd go for 30 though. 93, 13 from an 83 entry. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video. I'll come back and we'll see what the outcome of this trade is. Okay, it came down and hit the stop. You can see it went to 76. My stop was at 78. It just came down and hit it. Now, I calculated the halfway move. It should get in at 81. 81 is the halfway move. So if you're going to play that strategy, you'd be in at 81. Let's go ahead and get in 81. I'll demonstrate this. And we'll just go for 20 ticks, which will bring us back to break even again for the day. Okay. Let me take a look at something here. Well, I can't get in at 81 right now. I can get it at 80 right now. Let's just get in at 80. It's close enough, right? Okay, so I'm in at 80. And now you're going to hold this for the 20 ticks. Now see, from here, it covers the range. So if it goes down in double bottoms, your stop will easily hold. So here is the better entry, rather than on the break. Now I don't know the percentage of times that it does this, but it probably goes into a like a trend where it'll do it this way, and then it'll go into a trend where it does it the other way. My suggestion, follow the trend. Right now it's trending to go down, so I'm going to start playing it like that. When it starts doing it on the breaks, I'll start playing the breaks. So I'll just go with it. And you say, how do you know what it's doing? I'll just go with the last time. Last time it keeps doing the same thing, so I'll keep doing it until that changes and it breaks. And then when it breaks, I'll start going with the breaks. I'll just follow the pattern. Won't be able to get it right 100% of the time, but I'll be able to follow the trends and get it right enough of the times to make plenty of money from it. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I'll come back after the trade is all done, but it should be able to make it to the 20 tick exit from here, and it won't hit the stop. So if you wanted to play like this, you could even play this strategy going halfway plus just go for 20. That'll really increase your math. Instead of going for 30, just go for the 20. That'll really, really, really increase your math. I don't know what it would be, but it would be very high. Maybe like 90%. And when you can get your trading that high, let's go ahead and do it from now on. I'll demonstrate it to you. Just have to have patience between the days when it, but also we'll just go with the trends. I mean, if it sits there and it keeps just breaking and going and just keeps doing it, I'm not going to just keep fighting it. I'm just going to go with it until that stops and goes back to where it likes to go back halfway again. It's gonna do both. So I'll come back and show you the outcome after it's all done. Okay, I managed to catch a big trade. I held that Go-To trade at 92.80, and I just set it to have a stop and just let it go, and it just took off. And then the Go-To trade for this morning gave a buy entry perfectly, and it just took off. So I'm going to go ahead and exit here. Okay, I'm out here. 94.68. That it's almost 200 ticks, just shy of 200 ticks. So it's a big trade, and that's the power of knowing code 2. It was two code 2s back to back. It was the second USA and then the first USA code 2. The Euro, of course, didn't do anything. Just like the Euro code hasn't been doing anything the last couple of weeks. So Euro code is not producing anything, but the second USA and the first USA are the money makers right now. The first USA specifically is the big money maker. It's just went up 200 ticks this morning. A 200 tick move this morning. But the entry was based on the second USA code 2. So, and then the first USA code 2 came around, gave the buy entry, and boom, took off. So it's a big trade, and that's how you make money at the oil market. It is, it is the best market in the world. I can trade anything I want to trade. And by far, oil is the best market there is in the world. So, if you're not trading oil, you should be. I can't imagine trading anything else. So, I'll be back later on to do some more trading. And this is how easy the trading is, and how much money you can make trading oil. There's nothing like it. Nothing like using the codes. So I will be back later and do some more trading. I love trading. Everybody should love trading. What else could you make the kind of money like this besides trading? Nothing that I know of. Okay, gotta go. Happy trading out there, traders. I'll be back later.